Tyler is with us in Oklahoma. Hi, Tyler. How are you?
Hey, Dave. I'm well. I'm originally from Columbia, Tennessee, and a longtime listener all the way back to the 90s.
Wow.
And thanks for caring about people and our financial health.
Well, thank you, sir. How can we help?
Well, I'm a laid-off oil worker, Dave, and thanks to your teachings, I am debt-free, and I'm able to navigate this downturn. My question, Dave, is as a fiscal conservative, I'm a little bit concerned. With the money supply increasing by $3 trillion in 1 year, the printing press is churning, and the Federal Reserve is manipulating markets by even buying junk bonds. We've got double-digit unemployment, and we have a president who is calling for negative rates, and who, politics aside, is objectively a fan of debt and bankruptcy. So with that said, my question to you, sir, is where do you see inflation going if they continue to this printing? And what do you say to people like Ray Dalio who say gold should occupy a place in the portfolio as a hedge against inflation? That's my question.
Well, you've been listening to me for a while, so you know I'm not going to tell you to buy gold.
Yes, sir.
And that you knew that before you called. And I don't know Ray, and I don't know what his teachings are, but I don't buy gold, and I don't recommend people buy gold. And we can talk through why. Let's pretend for a second that hyperinflation occurred. Okay, that your worst fears with your scenario occur. Okay, and we go back to the Carter administration, and we had 10 and 12% inflation a year, which we haven't really seen since then. But let's say that happens due to the oversupply of money and these $3 trillion bailouts, and that's what you're worried about. And I agree with you that what they've been doing up there is unwise, for sure. I don't think it's going to take us to the same place you think it's going to take us to, but let's just pretend it did, that it takes us to a real heavy inflation rate. There is no promise that gold follows that on an inverse relationship, meaning there is no promise that the value of gold goes up as the value of the dollar goes down, because they are not tied together in any way. There is no index. We do not operate on the gold standard anymore. And so gold goes up like all commodities: oil, gold, silver, agricultural products like wheat. These are all, they go up based on a perceived shortage or they go down based on a perceived oversupply. When there is a shortage of gold is when people are greedy and they think that they're going to make a bunch of money on gold, so they rush gold or anything else. And when there is or when they're afraid. And so like during coronavirus, gold went up. Stock market went down, people are afraid because they have an emotional attachment to gold that they don't have to the other commodities that makes them think that gold is a safe place. It is not. It's not safe. It is a golden colored rock. It has no intrinsic value except the fact that two different people are fighting over it. And that's the only thing that gives it value. The same exact thing that gives a green piece of paper with the president's face on it value. It has no intrinsic value. It's a green piece of paper. The only reason it has value is that people want it from one another and will accept it from one another. That's the only thing that gives it value. And so my friend Rabbi Lapin talks about money is spiritual in that sense, in that it is based on trust. It is not based on mathematics. And the trust that I can train a green piece of paper or a bar of gold or a golden cufflink or something for something else, then that's what makes it valuable. And so in the event that that an economy collapses, we do not automatically rush out with bars of gold to the quick sack and fill up our car. It's not how it works. The first thing that happens in a completely collapsed economy is it returns to a barter economy. And I can show you examples of that. Take, for instance, New Orleans after Katrina. That is a microcosm, a small economy. It completely collapsed. And there was a period of weeks that you really couldn't trade a bar of gold for anything but a pair of blue jeans or a can of gasoline. You could trade, or bottled water, you could trade for almost anything. And it became just basically a barter, oftentimes a black market barter economy. And that's the first thing that happens when an economy collapses. People don't return to gold. They don't go to their safe and get out diamonds. They go to their safe and get out bullets. That's what happens. And so think through the reality of that. And then from there, some other organization comes to power, a new government is formed, and then a new form of currency occurs. For instance, I have on my shelf, a Green Beret brought me back a handful of paper money with a picture on it of Saddam Hussein, the former government of Iraq. And obviously, that paper money has zero value except as a souvenir. No one will accept it in exchange for something else. And they never went to the gold standard in Iraq. They went to black market barter economy after they were overthrown until a new government went into place, which, guess what? Printed up new colored paper money. That's what they did. So I don't buy gold. It has a crummy track record as an investment.